Picture this scene with me, if you will. A funeral procession. Maybe one you've witnessed or perhaps even felt the weight of, that raw, heavy silence. Maybe just the quiet sobs of a mother walking behind the coffin of her only son. You know, that crushing sense of finality, of loss that feels just i- irreparable. And then imagine in an instant a touch, a single word spoken with, well, real authority. And everything, absolutely everything changes. So today, we're embarking on a deep dive into profound compassion and the foundational virtues that actually enable it. We've got this powerful ancient story, too, that sort of ties it all together. Our sources are incredibly rich, quite diverse, actually. We have a daily reflection centered on a truly miraculous event, an ancient letter detailing the essential qualities for leadership, for service in a community, and also a psalm about this profound commitment to living with a blameless heart. Our mission today, it's pretty clear, I think. We want to extract the most important nuggets from these texts. We're looking at how deep compassion isn't just a feeling, right? But an active demonstration.
Exactly. And what personal qualities really allow us to extend it authentically. What makes it real.
Yeah, and the profound transformative impact it can have on those who are, as one text puts it, bowed down by life's hardships.
We'll explore how these ancient ideas aren't just like historical echoes. They resonate deeply with how we navigate sorrow and offer genuine hope today, right now.
Okay, so let's begin by immersing ourselves in this really remarkable narrative from the Gospel of Luke. Picture Jesus, his disciples, and the text says a very large crowd journeying toward a city called Nain. And as they approach the city gate, they literally run into a funeral procession leaving the city. It's this stark meeting of life and death right at the entrance.
And this isn't just any funeral. The text is incredibly specific about why it matters so much. It's a man who had died, okay, but he's the only son of his mother, and she was a widow. Yeah. Now, in that society, I mean, you have to understand, this wasn't just unimaginable personal grief, though of course it was that. It also meant potential economic destitution, extreme social vulnerability.
Right, losing her only son.
It was, in essence, a catastrophic blow. She's left without her primary provider, her heir, and the source notes that a large crowd from the city was with her. This signifies not just the depth of her community's shared sorrow, but their collective understanding of her truly dire situation.
So what happens next really captures the essence of this whole thing. When Jesus sees her, the text tells us he was moved with pity for her and said to her, "Do not weep."
Just like that.
Yeah, think about that. He doesn't just stand by offering passive condolences or a quick sorry for your loss. He actively intervenes in this moment of just raw public despair.
And that phrase, moves with pity, it's absolutely crucial here. It speaks to a deep, almost visceral compassion, a profound empathy that stirs him to immediate action. It's not detached observation. It's a feeling right down to his core.
It sounds like it.
And what follows is just, well, extraordinary. He steps forward and touches the coffin. Now, this was a remarkable act, maybe even unconventional, given the cultural context where touching the dead was considered defiling.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Huge. The bearers halt, almost instinctively, sensing something profound, something way beyond the ordinary is happening. Then this powerful, direct command, "Young man, I tell you, arise."
And the result is immediate, it's astounding, almost unbelievable. The dead man sat up and began to speak, and Jesus gave him to his mother.
Wow.
Can you even grasp that? The sudden, maybe jarring silence in that crowd, instantly replaced by disbelief. Then, I imagine, utter, overwhelming joy. One moment, crushing finality, the next, this impossible, miraculous reversal.
It redefines reality for everyone there.
Exactly, transforming collective grief into collective awe.
And the crowd's reaction is very telling about the impact. Fear seized them all, our source says, but it's like a holy awe, And they glorified God, exclaiming, "A great prophet has arisen in our midst, and God has visited his people." This wasn't just some private miracle witnessed by a few.
Yeah.
It was a communal affirmation of divine power, of presence. A profound recognition that God was, well, active. Right there.
And the report about him, it says it spread through the whole of Judea and in all the surrounding region. So this event clearly had this widespread, lasting impact, a ripple effect of hope moving far beyond Nain's city gates. So what does this incredible story, this moment in Nain, tell us about the nature of profound compassion?
It really resonates beautifully with a line from our daily reflection source, doesn't it? It's almost like Jesus was embodying its truth right there.
Which line is that?
The Lord upholds all who fall and lifts up all who are bowed down. I mean, Jesus isn't just an observer here. He's the embodiment of this uplifting, compassionate power.
Absolutely. The reflection source notes that Jesus proved he is the Lord of life and hope. His mercy extended crucially not only to the young man, but also to the grieving mother. Right, it highlights that tender care for all who suffer.
Exactly. And what's particularly insightful, I think, is the declaration that no sorrow is beyond Christ's healing touch. Now, that's not just theology. It's a powerful message of universal hope. It suggests that even in our deepest, most profound despairs, there's a source of renewal, of comfort available.
And then the reflection pivots, doesn't it? From this divine act to a very personal challenge for us. It says, in our own lives, we are called to bring comfort and hope to those weighed down by grief and despair.
It shifts the focus.
Yeah, it's one thing to witness compassion like that, but quite another to be part of it, to embody it.
Which raises that critical question for all of us, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do we as individuals become, as the prayer in our source puts it, an instrument of comfort to the brokenhearted?
Yeah, how do we?
It's not just about witnessing it or even just, feeling it. It's about actively embodying it, taking tangible steps to make a real difference in someone else's life, transforming that feeling into action.
Okay, so that powerful call to be an instrument of comfort, it really begs the question, how do we build that capacity? It's one thing to feel pity, but how do we consistently embody it?
Right. It's not automatic.
No. And this is where our second set of sources, especially that ancient letter, 1 Timothy, offers a surprisingly practical blueprint, maybe.
Yeah, I think blueprint is a good word. It's essentially a guidebook for early church leaders written to this young pastor, Timothy. It outlines the foundational virtues needed for anyone aspiring to serve their community with, integrity.
So what kind of virtues are we talking about?
Well, the letter lays out specific, very practical qualities, especially for those in leadership or service roles back then. For a bishop, which in context meant like an overseer, a senior leader, it's about being irreproachable.
Irreproachable. Okay.
Yeah. Also, married only once, meaning faithful in marriage, showing steadfastness, temperate, self-controlled, decent, hospitable, able to teach. Also, not a drunkard, not aggressive, but gentle, not contentious, not a lover of money.
Wow, that's quite a list.
It is. And they aren't just abstract ideals, right? They describe a person whose life is ordered, trustworthy, someone others can genuinely rely on as a pillar in their community.
It even emphasizes managing one's own household well, doesn't it? Keeping his children under control with perfect dignity. It presents that as a sort of prerequisite for taking care of the Church of God.
Exactly. The logic is, if you can't manage your own home well, how could you possibly lead a larger community effectively?
Makes sense. And it also mentions having a good reputation among outsiders as crucial. Why is that so important?
Well, the idea is that their actions shouldn't discredit the message or the community they represent. To avoid what the text vividly calls the devil's trap, essentially falling into pitfalls that undermine trust and public standing. It's about building trust both from the inside out and the outside in.
Okay. And what about others in service, like deacons?
Similarly, for deacons, who are community servants, usually helping the bishops and caring for people's needs, the emphasis is on being dignified, not deceitful, not addicted to drink, not greedy for sordid gain.
Same themes of integrity.
Very much so. And holding fast to the mystery of the faith with a clear conscience. The mystery of the faith being, the core beliefs of their tradition. And importantly, the letter also notes women, similarly, should be dignified, not slanderers, but temperate and faithful in everything. So it outlines this consistent set of virtues across different roles: integrity, reliability.
That's a really comprehensive list of virtues, especially for leaders. But isn't there a risk here that focusing so much on these, let's say, outward qualities, being irreproachable, temperate, hospitable, could lead to a kind of performance, a facade maybe, without real inner conviction?
That's a critical point, absolutely. And it really gets to the heart of the connection we're exploring.
How do we make sure these virtues connect to genuine compassion, not just, looking trustworthy?
Right. Well, I think if we connect these virtues back to the bigger picture, back to Nain, they create a solid, reliable, trustworthy character. A person embodying these qualities isn't just acting. They are someone others can genuinely trust. Their actions aren't driven by selfish motives or fleeting impulses, but by genuine, deeply rooted care. They're described as gentle and hospitable. These are qualities that directly enable them to offer comfort and hope effectively.
So it's not performing, it's being.
Exactly. It's about being a safe, reliable presence for those in need, because your inner character is actually aligned with your outward actions. These virtues act as a stable foundation, allowing true compassion to flow through, rather than just being superficial displays.
Okay, that makes sense. So, if the virtues in Timothy describe outward behavior and reputation, how we act, how we're seen, then our responsorial psalm, Psalm 101, seems to give us a glimpse into the inner commitment that underpins it all. The line, "I will walk with blameless heart."
Yes. That sounds like the internal engine driving those outward virtues, doesn't it?
It really does.
It absolutely is the internal compass. This is a deeply personal vow, an inner commitment to integrity, to moral purity. The psalmist declares, "Of mercy and judgment I will sing. To you, O Lord, I will sing praise. I will persevere in the way of integrity."
Persevere in the way of integrity?
Yeah, it speaks to a conscious, intentional decision to maintain moral clarity within your own sphere, declaring, "I will not set before my eyes any base thing." Now, a blameless heart, I don't think it means achieving perfection or never making a mistake.
Right, that seems impossible.
Exactly. It's more about the consistent intention to align your inner motives with your outward actions. Striving for that moral clarity even when, nobody's watching, and having the courage to correct course when you inevitably stray.
So it's about the direction, the intention.
I think so. It's this profound inner consistency that truly underpins genuine compassion and makes you a reliable force for good.
And it also speaks to a commitment to justice, interestingly. It says, "Whoever slanders his neighbor in secret, him will I destroy. The man of haughty eyes and puffed up heart I will not endure."
So this inner commitment isn't passive or just about personal piety.
Not at all. It's actively seeking what is right and just, even holding others accountable when necessary. It's got teeth, you could say.
Yeah. And what's fascinating here is the connection the psalm makes between this inner purity and outward service. It says, "My eyes are upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. He who walks in the way of integrity shall be in my service."
So the integrity attracts and enables service.
Precisely. This blameless heart isn't just an individual pursuit. It creates the foundation for identifying and aligning with others who share that commitment to integrity and service. It suggests that leaders of character tend to attract followers of character, forming a community built on trust and shared purpose.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does all of this mean for you, the listener? We started with that miraculous act of compassion at Nain, moved through the practical virtues needed for effective service from 1 Timothy, and finally touched on this deep internal commitment of a blameless heart in Psalm 101. It's been quite a journey through these sources.
It really provides a comprehensive view, I think, of what it means to extend genuine compassion. In any setting, really, from personal relationships to leadership roles. Well, the story of Nain reminds us of the profound impact of genuine pity, yes, but also active intervention in moments of deep despair. It shows us that hope can emerge even from the most desperate situations, a powerful lesson for any crisis, really.
Hope from despair.
Then the qualities outlined in Timothy. They're like a blueprint, as we said, for cultivating a character that can be truly helpful and trustworthy to others. Whether you're in a formal leadership role, building a team, or just being a supportive friend, it's about reliability, ethical conduct.
The stable foundation we talked about.
Exactly. And Psalm 101 underscores that this outward capacity for compassion is rooted in that internal integrity, that moral clarity. And again, the insight here is realizing this blameless heart isn't about being perfect, but about that consistent intention to align your actions with your values, even when no one's looking.
That inner resilience.
Yes. It's the inner resilience that allows you to be a steady, trustworthy presence, like a well-calibrated compass, maybe, in a chaotic world. It's about being prepared, both inwardly and outwardly, to be an instrument of hope when sorrow strikes. Not just as an act of pity, but as a reflection of your foundational character.
So we've seen how that single act of divine compassion at Nain, that act of lifting the bowed down, resonates so deeply with the call for us to embody virtues like gentleness, hospitality, all stemming from that inner commitment to a blameless heart. It's a really powerful synergy when you see it all together.
It truly is.
Now, The people of Nain, witnessing that incredible event, they exclaimed, God has visited his people. So this deep dive into compassion and virtue invites you perhaps to consider this. How might you, in your own sphere, through your own efforts toward a blameless heart and virtuous actions, become a tangible visit of hope and comfort to someone who is bowed down in your own life this week? Something to reflect on until our next deep dive.